Ahead, just so everybody's aware, we're doing a process without showing all the steps that go into the process because we're late in the day today. Tomorrow we're going to repeat and go through all the components, what everything's doing on the ALD system, what the individual purposes are, how to look at the recipe, run the recipe, and run the process in a deposition. So we're running, I'm showing you the end first or earlier, and then we'll go through all the steps tomorrow, and then it'll make sense.
So 9 a.m. tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right.
See, we're gonna be here at 9 tomorrow.
You better be.
Yes. Mr. Thomas, what time you will be
9:30 better?
Yeah.
9:30. That okay?
Why'd you hesitate?
Because I'm here at 8:40 today, and no one showed up until 9:30.
Then we'll do 9:30. So on this screen, on the deposition screen, it shows source 1, which is this source. That's your water. And then you have a tab for 3A and 3B.
Oh.
3A, we already have TMA.
Oh.
3B, if you did,
Empty.
yes, it's
If
empty.
it was something, to show something, all right?
Yeah, so if you wanted to put something in there, say you got zirconium,
Right.
then you can come in and load it up.
Oh, we have to write out.
Yep.
We have to write it manually. We have to write it manually.
Yes.
It will not come automatically.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't know.
Oh, all right.
And that's just for reference anyway. It doesn't impact. It's just so you keep track. And if you power down and bring it back up, then it stays in that cell. It knows what is there. So we're around with the pumping and the NERC gas flow. We have 120 skims coming in to your purge. And then through each source, we have 50 skims. That's giving us 311 millitorr pressure with the pump, with the pumping speed. So we want to get, if there was atmosphere out, what we would do with the water is the pump purge. We're probably not going to see any atmosphere because I think it was already run, but I don't know. So how you do that, you can just open, I had that airline off. Open, close. With the manual valve closed. Manual valve's closed at this point. Okay? So the first time you could see that, a peak. So this is just all, if there was atmosphere, it just, the atmosphere got pumped up. Then I do this 3 times with the gas flow, with the higher pressure.
On and off.
On and off.
On and off.
Then, what you do is you come here, you might be able to do it from the screen too. Yeah. So you can zero all flows, off all valves, and then open this again. Let it return down to what our base was, which was 6. Okay? This is a good indication right now, since we even got there, that that's probably leak tight.
That what?
It's probably not leaking.
Okay.
But that's not what we're checking for yet. So this is part of the pump purge. So you do 3 open, close, open, close, open, close with gas flow. And then you do 3 where you get the ALD IGF. This will bring us up to back to 600 and some millitorr pressure. And you do this part 3 times. Zero all flows, off all valves, open that valve, and let it return. So 3 times with flow, 3 times without flow. That's the pump purge procedure. Anytime you load an ampule or anytime you unload an ampule, you have to do that.
Are those in the manual or something?
It's a procedure.
In your document somewhere?
I have a procedure. I'll give it to you here, or I'll put it on the desktop.
Okay.
Same way with, and after it returns there, you can go ahead and shut that off and go back to here. So there's a procedure in loading, unloading the ampule, and there's a pump purge procedure. I will put both those procedures on the desktop tomorrow.
Okay.
And then we just repeat that for a third time. So zero off close, off all valves, and then open it.
So, when did you be a part of this?
So that was the third time. So we're done with the pump purge procedure. We can come back, and if we run to, say the ampule has been pump purged. It hasn't been conditioned yet. That's different. So I pump purged, I got rid of the atmosphere that was between this valve
In the coupler.
and the coupling of the 3/4 inch VCR fitting.
So you didn't open the valve yet?
I didn't open the valve yet, but I want to make sure that's not leaking.
Yeah.
I want to have some degree of confidence. It ain't going to be 100%. But if my rate of rise, which was 50 millitorr over a minute, if I repeat that with that same valve open, I can be somewhat confident that I don't have a leak.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. That is back to the rate of rise. That's not the pump purge procedure. Pump purge procedure is 3 times with gas flow, on, off, on, off, on, off.
Flip this
And
button.
3 times with zero gas flow with the valve open. So I'm going to do the rate of rise where zero all flows, off all valves. I'm going to come here, I'm going to open the ALD valve. And then I'm going to do the timer. Step the back, make sure it's still open.
How about the now? How about the now? Are you starting the deposition process?
No,
Not yet.
this is just loading the chemistry. So we loaded the ampules. We want to have some degree they're not leaking where we tightened it up. The fitting we tightened.
Okay, what did you
Not-
put them?
One goes there, and then one on the exact
Oh, I see.
opposite side. So that one's the water, and then the other one is the
TMA.
unit.
Yeah, TMA. So that was 40 seconds. So it's getting better. We didn't make it better by putting that on. It's just a conditioning. So, but it's not greater than 50. So we have some confidence that we have a good seal there. And we have to do the same thing to the TMA. Now I come here, that's our ALD IDF inner gas flow.
And then this?
So who wants to do the TMA?
No, they found the other one. The circular. That's the
On. No, you need to go for this. So this is just the recipe monitor. Go ahead and close out. This is a touchscreen too, so you can turn that off. So you go to deposition.
Oh, I would be scared using a touchscreen on this. My fat finger.
Go to 3.
Hit the wrong button.
Okay. Now, this, I'm going to open and close. Okay. So we got an interlock. Why do we get the interlock? We had the interlock because this valve is still open over here. It won't let you have both valves open. So,
Can you close?
that's how you have an interlock. What happens if you get an interlock? First of all, read it, see if you can't make sense out of it. If you want to find out what that interlock is saying, then you can come up and you can double click on the interlock and it'll bring you to the interlock list. And this will be in some sort of logic step most of the time. In this case, it's 4. And it says, don't allow one valve to be open if other valves are open. That's what this is saying. So you can come into, under maintenance and interlocks, and we'll get into the screens more tomorrow. These are all the interlocks. You can try to figure out which one it is, or you can just double click this one. And it'll bring you to that specific interlock. This stays here, even though the condition went away. It just says there was a history of it. So, you can acknowledge it, and it all goes away. Now, if there's a user that trips something, and they acknowledge it and it goes away, it doesn't mean there's not a history of it. The history of it stays in an archive. I'm not showing everybody where that archive is, for obvious reasons. But, it's captured. So, we figured out, oh, okay, the valve was open. We're coming back. We can go back to the deposition. We can go ahead and close the valve. Now we can go back to where we were at. Go try to open it again. Yep. And close it. Close it. Use a mouse. So that was one long time. And do it 2 more times. Just like that. Open and close.
You don't necessarily need to wait any certain duration, do you?
Half a second. And do it one more time. And close it. Now, one of the things, this is normal, what you would expect to see with a good seal. Doesn't mean it's leak tight. I mean, it's probably okay. If you have a gross leak, then the second and third time you did this, you'll see something. So that was half of the pump purge. Now, you want to do 0 all flows, off all valves,